Hello and welcome to Season 2, Episode 2 of High Spirits with Edwin Courtenay. Today we are going to be talking about pendulums. This is part of our Tools of the Trade series, exploring tools that you may have bought but not necessarily know how to use, or not know how to use in a slightly different way that can hopefully enable you to see them in a different light and utilize their full potential. Now, many of you may already have a pendulum. You may have picked one up when you were at a psychic fair, or maybe you bought one specifically to do dowsing work with, or health dowsing with, or maybe you picked one up with a little talking board in order to see if the pendulum could spell out words, like a kind of Ouija board situation, in order to communicate with your guides or your guardian angel. That's become really popular within the last 10 or so years. But pendulums can be used in a lot of different ways, some which people don't really know about. People might know about using pendulums in crystal healing or healing to balance chakras or clear meridians, but they might not necessarily know about how to use a pendulum to manifest something, or how to use a pendulum to cleanse or clear energy in a person, place, or object, or how to use a pendulum to fill a person, place, or object with energy. So we're going to talk about some of those slightly less common practices of using a pendulum today. But first of all, I want to talk about buying a pendulum, because I think a lot of people don't really understand that there are different pendulums for different things, or at least different pendulums that have different specialities. Wooden pendulums, for instance, are really great for health work if you're wanting to check whether you might be allergic to certain foods or certain places or certain people. And they're really good for finding things, lost objects, hidden waterways, underground minerals or oil deposits. They used to make wooden pendulums that had a little screw top, so you could put inside the pendulum a sample of the thing that you were seeking. And then the pendulum would work through resonance and also through the universal principle of like attracting like. But I think these went a little bit out of fashion after a while. And then there are metal pendulums, silver, gold, or at least gold-looking pendulums, brass or copper. And these have different capacities too. Silver pendulums attuned to the moon on a planetary level are really good for psychic work, for tuning in to people, places, or objects, and also for strengthening mediumship. We'll look a little bit at that towards the end of our chat today as well. Whereas gold pendulums or gold look pendulums are really great for manifestation, because gold-coloured metals have a natural resonance with the power of the sun, and the sun is a planet which is great for manifesting things. We'll look at that a little bit later on too. Crystal pendulums, of course, are altered by the nature of the frequency of the mineral. So amethyst pendulums are great for healing, clairvoyance, mediumship. Blue laced agate, fantastic for healing. Green aventurine, abundance. Black obsidian, cleansing. So you would apply the property of the stone to the pendulum and apply that to what the pendulum would be good at doing, manifesting, clearing, healing, etc. Now, whatever you choose to buy, and I think when you're first buying your pendulum, it's important to go by intuition, really. Don't necessarily seek out a specific pendulum unless you really want it for a specific purpose, but just go by what you're drawn to at first. You might want to just test to see if the pendulum is right for you. Even if there's a rack of pendulums that are all seemingly exactly the same, ask if you can try them out, because you're looking for an immediate powerful response in order to find the pendulum that is in resonance with your energy. So take the pendulum, finger and thumb holding the chain or cord in your left hand, which is your sensitive hand, and hold it over your right palm, and just hold it there and see if the pendulum is going to move or swing. And if it does, then the pendulum can be used by you. If it doesn't, if it stands completely still, put it down and try another pendulum. If you pick one up and it goes absolutely wacky, then that is the pendulum to buy, because you're looking for a pendulum that's going to give you an immediate, powerful response. I know some people say, oh, ask the pendulum to give you a yes, ask the pendulum to give you a no. You can do all that later on once you've got your pendulum home. But first of all, you're just looking for an immediate, powerful response. And when you get it, that's the pendulum for you. Okay, so let's look at a couple of different ways of using our pendulum then. And we'll start by using a pendulum to cleanse and clear, and then also to charge. So if you're going to use a pendulum to clear, you're really best using either a silver pendulum or a mineral pendulum, which is made from a crystal that has cleansing properties, like shungite or obsidian or amethyst, something like that, or fluorite. This is a little amethyst pendulum crystal skull. So you would hold the object that you were wanting to clear, let's say it's this crystal, you would put that in your left hand, because the left hand is the receiving hand, and you're wanting the crystal to receive the cleansing energy from the pendulum. You would put the pendulum in your right hand. The right hand is the projective hand. You're going to be projecting cleansing energy through the pendulum into the object that you're seeking to cleanse. You hold it over the object and you say, either internally or externally, pendulum, clear and cleanse this crystal of any and all negative and inappropriate energies. And then you let the pendulum swing. You let the pendulum do whatever it wants. Clockwise, anti-clockwise, up and down, just let it go nuts. And you can keep repeating the mantra, or you can just simply then hold the intent. Pendulum, cleanse and clear this crystal of any and all negative and inappropriate energies. I'm holding my arms up here so you can see the pendulum swinging, but you put them somewhere nice and comfortable, of course. And you just let it do its thing until it comes to a dead halt. And when it comes to a dead halt, you trust that the pendulum has cleansed the crystal or the object. Then you need to charge the object or the crystal. Nature abhors a vacuum, and once we've cleansed the object, it will draw into it any ambient energies, and you want to make sure that that energy is going to be a good one. So if you've got a quartz pendulum, or a pendulum that has other crystal properties that are projective, so citrine or Libyan desert glass. Oh, wouldn't that be marvelous to have a Libyan desert glass pendulum? It's one of my favorite new stones. You would use that, or you would use a gold-colored pendulum, because once again, gold-colored metals are solar-oriented and they are to do with dynamic energy. But clear quartz is, a really good crystal to use. It's the white light of the crystal community. It can be used for anything really, but it's really good for magnifying and charging. This is a very swanky pendulum made from a Vogel crystal, which I bought from my very dear friend Louis Krieg's shop, Stone Age in Glastonbury. I would say, if you're going to use pendulums a lot, then you might want to invest a bit and get a really swanky pendulum. But if you're not, then there's really no need to. Much of a muchness pendulums, whether they're cheap as chips or super expensive, it's only if you're going to be using it a lot for a lot of different things that you might want to invest in a slightly better tool, like you would invest in a slightly better car if you were going to drive it in the Grand Prix or use it for chauffeuring people around. So here's the crystal, nice and cleansed, in our left palm. Pendulum's in our right hand. We hold it over the crystal and we say, pendulum, fill this crystal with positive energy and light. Pendulum, fill this crystal with positive energy and light. Pendulum, fill this crystal with positive energy and light. And you let, once again, the pendulum do its thing. Don't worry about whether it's going clockwise or anti-clockwise, because the pendulum will be not only filling the crystal with energy, but it will be balancing the energy within the stone as well. So it might go clockwise, it might go anti-clockwise, it might go left, right, right, left. Just let it do its thing. And once again, hold it there until it comes to a dead halt. And when it comes to a dead halt, you know the crystal is charged. And you could then douse over it just to double check. You could do that after you've cleansed it. You could do that after you've charged it. But really, we should just trust that it's worked and that the crystal is cleansed and charged. Now, you can do this with any object. You can do this with a person. You can do this with a place. Cleansing and charging. Always when you're clearing something, you need to charge it straight afterwards, because, as I say, nature abhors a vacuum. If you've cleansed something, it's empty and it's going to draw energy from the space around it to fill that void, and you want to make sure that that energy is a positive energy. So let's say we were going to clear a space. We would pop the pendulum in our right hand. No, actually, sorry. We'd pop the pendulum in our left hand, because the left hand is the cleansing hand. And we'd hold it in the space that we're wanting to cleanse, and we would say, pendulum, cleanse and clear this space of any negative energy and any inappropriate energy. And we would then once again just let the pendulum do its thing. We might walk around the room. We might sit still in the center of the room. And then when it comes to a standstill, we would trust that the space had been cleansed, and then we would want to charge the space up with positive energy. So we'd switch hands to the right hand, and we'd say, pendulum, fill this space with positive energy and light. And once again, we'd let the pendulum swing until it swings no more, and then we trust that the space had been filled. So it's always important to do it one after the other, cleanse and then charge. If you're going to cleanse an entire house, go room by room by room. Don't start and wander through the rooms. Do one room at a time, cleanse it, charge it. Next room, cleanse it, charge it. Next room, cleanse it, charge it. If you wander from room to room to room cleansing it, you might not give each room enough time. And also, once you've then cleansed a space and you've moved into the next room, that space may become contaminated by drawing negative energy into it because of the vacuum principle. So it's always best when cleansing spaces, cleanse, charge, next room, cleanse, charge, next room. And when you are charging a crystal or a space, you can put in an intent as well. You could charge the space with love. You could charge the space with light. You could charge the space with peace. And if you're going to use a specific intent and you have got multiple mineral pendulums, then you could choose the right pendulum for the job. But as I say, if you haven't, clear quartz, the white light of the crystal world, can be used to channel any crystal energy. So it can be used to charge a space with light, with love, with peace, with joy, anything. So if you're going to buy one pendulum, then I would say get yourself a nice quartz one. Final thing then that I want to talk about is manifestation, using pendulums for manifestation. Actually, there's two things. I'll use the manifestation one right at the end of our little chat. So the penultimate thing is to do with psychism. So a pendulum can be used to strengthen your psychical sensitivity, to strengthen your clairvoyance, to strengthen your mediumship. We would use either a silver pendulum, silver coloured, or a crystal that is connected to psychism like amethyst, lapis lazuli, sodalite. We would hold it in the left hand, because left hand is to do with receptivity. And when we were tuning into a person or a place or an object, when we were trying to tune into the presence of our guides or spirit, we would just hold it in the hand and we would say, pendulum, help me tune into the presence within this space. Or pendulum, help me tune into the energy within this space. Or pendulum, help me tune into the energy of this person. or pendulum, help me tune into the energy of this object. If the person is with us, we would hold it over them or their hands. If the object, if it's within our grasp, we would hold that in our hand. If we're tuning into the energy within a space, we just hold the pendulum in our hand. And once again, we let the pendulum do its thing. We might just repeat that mantra in our head. Pendulum, help me tune into the energy within this space. Pendulum, help me tune into the energy within this space. And we let it do its thing. We don't pay any attention to it. The pendulum is becoming a kind of antenna. It's boosting the signal and focusing it so that you can tune into it more clearly. If you're clairvoyant, close your eyes, focus on your brow, your inner vision. If you're clairaudient, close your eyes and focus on your ear. If you're clairsentient, close your eyes and focus on your heart. And it's just like using a booster to tune into the signal more clearly and boost that signal so that you're receiving it more dramatically and powerfully. I've seen psychics use pendulums in psychic fairs when they've been doing psychometry or when they've been reading the person. They would get the person to place their hands on the table and hold their pendulum over the person's hands, or they would get the object from the person and hold the pendulum over the object. Left hand receptivity, fantastic way of just boosting your psychic senses. Final thing then, manifestation. So if you're going to use a pendulum for manifestation, excuse me while I take a sip. You need a gold or brass or copper pendulum, a gold coloured pendulum, or a clear quartz pendulum, or another mineral that is good for manifestation. So citrine, green aventurine, Libyan desert glass, like I say, it's my new obsession. And if a Libyan desert glass pendulum exists, I'm sure it does, my friend Louis' shop in Glastonbury Stonehenge is bound to have one because he's a Libyan desert glass obsessed. And he has wonderful different bits and pieces of this wonderful mineral. I'm going to use this clear quartz pendant of mine. Hold it in your right hand. Right is projective, and we're using that for projecting our intent out into the universe in order to bring the manifestation into being. Now, you might either write on a piece of paper the thing that you want to manifest, or you might even write it onto your hand with a biro. Or you might visualize yourself holding the object. So you're putting that on your left hand, the receptive hand, because you're drawing the manifestation to you, and you're holding the pendulum over that because you're charging the thing that you are seeking to manifest with energy in order to crystallize it and ground it. So let's say I'm going to manifest myself a mini metro. So I write on my hand or a piece of paper, mini metro, or I might have a little picture of a mini metro, put it on the hand, hold the pendulum over the word or the image, and we say, pendulum, manifest my wish, my desire, bring to me the mini metro. Pendulum, manifest my wish and my desire, bring to me the mini metro. And you just once again let the pendulum do its thing. Don't worry whether it's going clockwise, anti-clockwise, right, left, right, because it's working in its own wonderful, magical and mysterious way to bring the manifestation into being. It's weaving, it's affecting the quantum reality, it's balancing your energy and your energetic relationship to the quantum reality. So you just let it do its thing, and you just focus on the thing that you are seeking to manifest, and you repeat that mantra, and you hold the pendulum over your hand, over the words, over the picture, until it comes to a dead halt, at which case you trust that the signal has been sent out into the universe, and the manifestation is on its way, and you don't need to do anything else in order to bring that manifestation into being. You don't have to repeat the exercise. You trust that a one-time go at it is enough in order to get the manifestation rolling. So pendulums are incredibly versatile objects, cheap as chips, simple to use, but multifaceted. And I think, as I said at the beginning, a lot of people know about using them to dowse and also to heal, but not so much about using them for cleansing and clearing, and not so much about using them for boosting psychical sensitivity or manifesting. But in these areas, they can be extraordinarily powerful, and they are just so super simple to use. So I hope, if you've never used a pendulum before, or if you have used a pendulum before and you've not really got on with it very well, that you'll give these things a go. The proof of the pudding is in the eating, and you may discover that you are a master pendulum user and you have wonderful, wonderful effects with these little tips and tricks. If you've enjoyed today's little chin wag and you've not yet subscribed, please hit the subscribe button below. If you know of people who you think might find these little chats beneficial, then please do steer them to the YouTube channel. And if you want to find out more about my work and where I am and what I'm up to, go to the website www.edwincourtenay.co.uk. Not quite sure what we're going to be talking about in the next episode, can't remember, but it will be something along the same lines of looking at one of the tools of the trade and how to use it, and how to use it in a slightly different way. I hope you've enjoyed today's chat, today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you again very soon. Take care, and bright blessed be.